All right, deep divers, buckle up, because today we're taking a deep dive into Meta.
Yeah, that's right. The company behind Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, all the big ones.
And I know what you might be thinking. Financial reports? Maybe not the most thrilling topic?
True, but trust us, this is going to be fun and easy to understand.
Absolutely. We're going to break it down so simply, even a junior high student could get it. Like explaining it to your younger sibling. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so Meta just released their financial results for the third quarter of 2024. And we've got all the juicy
Oh,
details.
yeah, we've got their presentation slides, the press release, notes from their calls with investors. It's like getting a sneak peek behind the scenes.
Totally. And speaking of those investors, those are the people who basically give Meta money, hoping to make even more money.
Right, because they believe in Meta's future, and we're going to see if that belief is justified.
Exactly. So, did Meta rake in the cash this quarter? Are more people using their apps? What about those cool Ray-Ban Meta glasses?
We're going to cover it all.
We'll break down the most important stuff, how Meta's doing, their future plans, and how all of this might affect you, our listeners.
Right, how it might change the way you use your favorite apps.
Okay, so first things first. How does Meta actually make money?
Well, their biggest moneymaker is advertising. Think about it. You're scrolling through Instagram and you see an ad for, I don't know, a new video game or something.
Oh, yeah.
That's Meta getting paid. Companies pay them to show you those ads.
Makes sense. So it's like they're providing a platform for companies to reach us, the users.
Exactly. Now let's get to the big question. How did Meta do this quarter?
Drum roll, please.
They made a ton of money, $40.59 billion.
Whoa. That's billion with a B.
To put it in perspective, that's a 19% increase from what they made last year.
So, like, if your allowance suddenly got a massive boost.
Haha, exactly. And most of that money came from their family of apps, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp.
Right, all the ones we use every day.
And more companies are choosing Meta to advertise because they know that's where they can reach the most people.
Yeah, everyone's on at least one of those apps.
Speaking of which, Meta reported that 3.29 billion people use their apps every single day.
Wow, that's a 5% jump from last year. So they're definitely doing something right.
Definitely.
But what is it? What's their secret sauce?
Well, one big reason is their use of AI, artificial intelligence. Think of it like a super smart computer brain helping Meta make their apps better.
AI, huh? So it's like having a personal assistant who knows exactly what you like?
Yeah, kinda. It helps them choose which posts and ads you see.
That's pretty cool. But does it actually work?
It seems to be working. Meta says that AI is already helping people spend way more time on their apps, like 8% more time on Facebook and 6% more on Instagram.
Ah, I see. So more time on apps means they see more ads.
Exactly. It's a win-win for Meta.
Clever. Okay, so AI is one factor. What else is driving their success?
Well, another big one is the popularity of Reels. Those short, catchy videos.
Oh, tell me about it. I can spend hours watching those.
Me too. Reels have exploded in popularity, and Meta has been pushing them hard.
Yeah, they're everywhere. So basically, our love for watching short videos is making Meta a lot of money.
It's true.
That's kind of wild, actually.
It is. And there's one more factor, maybe not as exciting, but important. Advertisers are getting smarter about how they use Meta's platform.
Oh, how so?
They're using tools that help them target the right people with the right ads.
So we're more likely to see ads for stuff we actually like.
Exactly. It's all about making ads more relevant and less annoying.
Gotcha. Okay, so Meta is making bank, people are glued to their apps, and AI is making everything smarter. Sounds like they're on a roll. But what does it all mean for the future?
That's a great question, and one we'll tackle in part 2. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So we've established that Meta is doing pretty well, right? Making money, people using their apps. But, like any big company, they've got challenges to face too. Yeah, it's like even the coolest bands have, I don't know, a bad gig every now and then, right?
Exactly. And one of the biggest challenges for Meta is, well, regulation. Governments, especially in the US and Europe, they're getting tougher on how tech companies can use our data.
Oh, right, like with those targeted ads we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. New laws could limit how Meta collects and uses our information.
So those ads might not be as, personalized anymore.
It's possible. And, those ads are how Meta makes most of its money, so...
Right. If those ads aren't as good, maybe companies won't pay as much to use them. It's kind of like if you had a lemonade stand and suddenly there were new rules about what kind of lemons you could use.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and your lemonade wasn't as good, people might not buy it as much.
That's a great analogy. But, these regulations, they're there for a reason to protect our privacy, make sure we're not being misled, all that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Meta kind of has to, like, walk a tightrope, right?
Exactly. Keep their users happy, follow the rules, and still make money. Not easy.
Not easy at all. Okay, so regulations, that's one challenge. What else is Meta worried about?
Well, all competition. I mean, the social media world, it's constantly changing. New apps pop up all the
Oh,
time.
yeah. It's like everyone's trying to get our attention.
Yeah.
Got to stay relevant.
Exactly. And speaking of staying relevant, remember Threads.
Oh, yeah, Meta's new app, right?
Yep.
Haven't tried it yet, but I've heard some buzz.
Well, they're definitely hoping it'll be their next big hit.
Mm. But TikTok seems to be, like, the king of short videos right now, right? Is Meta worried about falling behind?
I'm sure they're keeping a close eye on TikTok. It's like, imagine you're the best athlete in school, and then a new kid comes in, super talented. You'd want to step up your game, right?
Totally. Competition keeps things interesting, keeps everyone on their toes.
It does. It's why we have so many awesome apps to choose from, pushes everyone to be better.
Okay, so regulations, competition. How is Meta planning to handle all of this?
Well, they've got a plan. And a big part of that plan is, you guessed it, AI.
AI again.
Oh, yeah, they're going all in on AI. They believe it's the key to, staying ahead of the game, creating cooler experiences for us, maybe even coming up with completely new products.
So AI is kind of like their secret weapon to fight off the competition, deal with regulations, all that.
You could say that, like, remember those Ray-Ban Meta glasses we mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
They could use AI to do some pretty incredible things with those, like real-time translation.
Wait, what? Real-time translation?
Yeah, imagine you're in a different country, can't speak the language, but with these glasses, you can understand everything people are saying.
Whoa, that's like straight out of science fiction.
It is. It's like Meta is blurring the lines between the real world and the digital world, and they've even hinted at even more advanced glasses in the future, ones that could project 3D images right in front of you, like holograms.
That's mind-blowing.
Right.
But I gotta ask, aren't those super advanced glasses still, like, years away?
They are. But Meta is taking it slow and steady. Those Ray-Ban glasses, they're like a first step.
So they're testing the waters, seeing what works.
Exactly. And AI is powering every step of this journey. But here's the thing. With all this cool technology, we also have to ask some tough questions.
Like what? Don't leave us hanging.
Well, for starters, how do we feel about Meta having even more access to our data?
Yeah, that is a good question.
With these AR glasses, they could potentially see and hear everything we do.
It's a little creepy, isn't it? It's like having a tiny meta robot following you around.
It's something to think about for sure. And it's not just about privacy either. There are questions about how this technology could be used. Could it be used for surveillance? Could it create a bigger gap between, people who have access to this technology and those who don't?
Whoa, that's a lot to consider. It's like every time technology takes a big leap forward, it opens up a whole new can of worms.
It's true. But it's important to have these conversations, to think critically about the potential consequences. We need to make sure companies like Meta are being responsible with this technology.
Okay, I think I'm getting a little overwhelmed here. So for our listeners, what's the main takeaway? What should they be thinking about as they, scroll through their feeds, watch reels, maybe even try on a pair of those Ray-Ban glasses?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is this. Meta is changing, and the way we interact with the digital world is changing too. AI is going to be a big part of that change. And those lines between the real world and the virtual world, they're going to keep getting blurrier.
It's exciting and a little scary, honestly.
It is, but that's what makes it so interesting. We have the power to shape this future to make sure this technology is used for good.
Well said. Okay, so that was part 2 of our deep dive into Meta. Lots to think about.
It is, but don't worry, we're going to break down even more in part 3. We'll look at Meta's plans for the next year or two and how they might affect you directly, so stay tuned.
Okay, deep divers, welcome back. It's the final part of our Meta journey. We've covered a lot of ground so far, from their financial success to, the challenges they're facing in those big futuristic metaverse dreams. But now, let's get practical. What can we actually expect from Meta in the near future, like the next year or two?
Well, I think one thing's for sure, AI, artificial intelligence, it's going to be everywhere. Like, seriously, Meta is weaving AI into pretty much everything they do. The apps we use every day, those cool glasses they're working on, it's all about AI.
So AI is going to be like choosing my news feed, recommending friends, maybe even writing my captions. Am I going to be out of a job soon?
Haha, maybe not the captions just yet. But you're right, AI is going to be playing a bigger role in personalizing those experiences. Mark Zuckerberg, Meta's CEO, he's super excited about AI, thinks it's the key to making their platforms even more engaging.
Okay, so more AI-powered features, that's a given. What else is cooking in Meta's labs?
Remember those Ray-Ban Meta glasses? They're just the beginning. They're working on making them even smarter, adding things like, get this, real-time translation.
No way. Real-time translation. So I can be like in a foreign country, can't speak the language, but these glasses would just translate everything for me.
That's the idea. And they're also thinking about AI-powered reminders. Like, imagine you're walking down the street and your glasses remind you to, I don't know, pick up milk on your way home.
Whoa. It's like having a personal assistant built into your glasses.
Exactly. And that's not all. They've hinted at developing even more advanced glasses in the future, ones that could, like, project holograms, 3D images right in front of you.
Okay, now that is just wild.
Ah,
But let's be real. Those
yeah.
holographic glasses, those are probably like years away, right? Like I'm not going to be wearing those anytime soon.
You're probably right. It'll take time. But the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, they're a way for Meta to, test the waters, get feedback, figure out what works, what doesn't.
So it's like their first step into the world of AR, augmented reality, like dipping their toes in the pool before jumping all the way in.
That's a good way to put it. And of course, AI is playing a big role in every step of the way. But here's the thing, with all this cool new technology, we also have to think about the bigger picture, the potential downsides.
Yeah. Okay. Hit me with it. What are those downsides?
Well, for one, how comfortable are we with Meta having even more access to our data?
Oh, yeah, good point. With those AR glasses, they could potentially see and hear everything we're doing, right?
Right. It's something to think about. And it's not just about privacy either. There are questions about how this technology could be used. Could it be used for surveillance? Could it create a bigger gap between those who have access to it and those who don't?
It's like every time we make a giant leap forward with technology, we also like stumble into a whole new set of ethical dilemmas.
It's true. And it's our responsibility to think about these things, to have those tough conversations and make sure companies like Meta are using this technology responsibly.
Okay, deep breaths, everyone. This is a lot to process. But, big thanks to you for breaking it all down for us. I feel like I actually understand what Meta's up to now.
Well, that's the goal. Knowledge is power, right? The more you understand how these tech giants operate, the better equipped you are to, navigate this crazy digital world we live in.
Absolutely. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Meta. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on what they do next. Thanks for joining us, deep divers. See you on the next dive.